My coach suggested I look at 3 different bikes, Quintana-Roo, Cervelo and this Quarter K Factor. The Cervelo is what everybody rides in triathlon, and I decided I wanted to be able to find my bike in transition rather than look along rows and rows of Cervelo bikes. And it fits me perfectly. I've had a full bike fit. So once the decision was made of what bike I was going to get, I found it very difficult to source and finally found a bike shop in Bristol called Bike Science. When I went to Bike Science, I told them the choice was between the Quarter K Factor and the Cervelo, and they gave me a basic fit to make sure I had the right size frame before order. So when the bike was ordered, it took about 7 weeks for it to arrive. And then the guys in the bike shop built it up for me, and it was all ready, waiting, looking its beautiful self when I went to pick it up. And all that needed to happen after that was to get the perfect fit. We actually ended up changing the saddle, adjusted my bars, adjusted some things with the pedals and on the cleats in my feet, and now it fits perfectly. So in order to do the fit, the back wheel was put on a turbo trainer, so a bit like a treadmill for the bike. And I had to do lots of cycling whilst wired up to lots of different points in my body, all the joints in my body, just to make sure that everything was working optimally. I loved the process. It was exciting because it was the first time I was on my bike. I'd never done anything like it before, so quite curious as to how the process worked. And given my sports massage background, it was also interesting from a biomechanic point of view of my body as to what was working and what wasn't. As part of my training programme, I raced a time trial last night with my cycling club. It was an 8.5 mile time trial over a course that I've raced on before, both with the road bike and the previous steel bike. And I was a good 2 minutes quicker on this bike than I was on any other bike. So it's most definitely proving the point that in the aero position, with a specific geometry bike fit for purpose, it's doing the job, and it's very thrilling. It's not a cheap sport. The bike itself being carbon fibre is expensive. The helmet, the aero helmet that you wear in order to optimise your aerodynamics and therefore speed on the bike is also expensive. Something that the Team Sky pro cycling team use for their time trials. And due to the sponsorship deal that I have with DDM, this has all been possible. What's next is a 6-week training block up to my first day race. And that's going to include a couple of practice races. One is the local triathlon. It's a sprint distance in a swimming pool. 2 weeks after that, I have another super sprint distance at Dorney Lake, swimming with the wetsuit on, and also transition out of the wetsuit and onto the bike. So that's really good practice and to understand where I need to improve in my transitions before the first big race on the 1st of June. So at the end of 2011, which is the end of the first triathlon season, I was doing quite well, and my coach at the time suggested I give the World Championships a crack the following season. So in 2012, I did a qualifying race at Dorney Lake and managed to qualify to go to the World Championships in Auckland in October. So when I went to Auckland, I was determined just to lap up the experience, enjoy myself and see what happened next. So when I came back home, I was, it really lit my fire. I thought, I want more of this. I had such a fantastic time with like-minded people and other athletes. I enjoyed the whole experience and I just wanted more. So I've set myself the target again of this year to qualify. I have a new coach, a new coaching regime. It's taking quite a bit of commitment, and it's also taking commitment from my family too. My husband Stephen and son Kai are incredibly supportive and want me to do well. I think there's quite a lot of compromise has to happen in our family to allow myself to train My husband is an ultra runner, so he spends a lot of time out running, and my son's also fairly sporty as well. So between the three of us, we have to do a lot of planning, a lot of compromise, and a lot of love and support for each other.